Some people call it the gay Super Bowl. Well, everyone knows what it is. It's the Academy Awards Oscar night. And here to talk about the picks and pans for this year, celebrity blogger from The Binge, Jason LeRoy. Jason, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine. So who's going to win Best Picture?
Well, it seems like it's probably Lincoln's to lose. You know, it just has that Best Picture scope. It has all the momentum right now. Possible upset could be Silver Linings Playbook, which cleaned up with, you know, nominations in all the key categories: picture, director, actor, actress, supporting, which is the first time that's happened since Reds in 1981. So that's historic, and it's the Weinsteins that are pushing it. And
money has power.
Money has power, and, you know, scary guys have power too. And the last time that, you know, Spielberg had a big epic expected to win Best Picture was Saving Private Ryan.
Right.
And that was also upset by Weinstein's Shakespeare in Love.
So which one would you like to win?
Neither.
Okay.
I don't want either to win.
Okay.
My #1 movie of the year was Zero Dark 30, which of course was sort of on the receiving end of one of the main snubs in the Best Director category, and which has been targeted by a sort of a campaign to somehow suggest that the movie condones torture just because it depicts it.
Right.
And so there seems to be a movement within the Academy to sort of take away its access to winning these statues.
Now, I'm probably not a good gay because I don't know the answer to this question, so I'm not putting up a paper tiger. Who is the Academy? Who are they?
The Academy is a vast group of people who work in film. You know, whether it be.
But is it like a secret society with like a handshake and stuff, or what?
Well, I'm not in it, so I couldn't tell you that. Even if I did, I probably, you know, would pay for it later.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But these are industry leaders.
These are people who are in film. You know, actors, directors, technical folks. All the different categories that you see nominated, those are the folks that make up the Academy.
Right. Now, when they vote, is it, you know, is it like the College of Cardinals? They get together in a room and send up smoke, or they just send in their votes as they want? I mean, i.e., how susceptible are they to pressure?
It's all about, you know, it's all about pressure. It's all about politics. Everyone has their own ballots. This year they introduced a controversial e-voting procedure, which is thought to have maybe meddled with some of the older members of the Academy and their abilities to vote because they couldn't quite crack it. There were a lot of sort of, I guess, layers of security to get through to voting online. And it was really sort of blocking people from voting, which might explain some of the edgier Best Director nominees that we got this year from younger Academy members.
Wow, so we've got hanging chads when it comes to the Academy.
Yeah, it's true. It extends to that as well.
Right. Now, one movie that I was personally excited to see about because I thought it was an incredibly moving documentary and just talks about an age which quickly is becoming a historic footnote, not a footnote, but something that a whole new generation of people don't know about, the AIDS era, the movie, the documentary, How to Survive a Plague.
Yes.
Were you surprised to see that nominated?
I was not. It was making a lot of shortlists from those who were sort of forecasting what was going to be nominated. So I was very encouraged to see that it was nominated. I think it's a great and important film.
What do you think its chances are?
The favorite right now seems to be Searching for Sugar Man. So I would say that it's probably maybe second or third on the list. It could still pull an upset. It's a very powerful film for sure, and you know, it's a topic that the documentary field can favor.
Right. Now, my favorite is the Best Actress category. And this year is historic as well. We have the youngest and the oldest.
We do.
So talk to me about that.
Well, neither of them are expected to win. But it is amazing that they're both there. I've interviewed Coven Janae when she was in San Francisco promoting Beasts of the Southern Wild. Or at least I kind of interviewed her. I sat at a table with her and asked questions while she acted like a little girl and was just kind of like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, I get that you're a little girl and that I'm a stranger. It's probably scary.
Yeah, and how does someone that young get nominated?
I personally am kind of against children being nominated for Oscars. I don't think they can really understand what's happening, especially since, you know, she's not favored to win, and then there's the heartache of this loss and trying to understand what it even means.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm not really in favor. I'm happy for her. I'm happy for the film. It's one of my top 10 of the year. But ultimately, it comes down to Jennifer Lawrence and Jessica Chastain.
And?
I personally want Chastain to win. She I'm beyond obsessed with her. I've seen all like the 45 movies that she's had suddenly released over the last 2 years. I think she's phenomenal. Zero Dark 30 is carried entirely by her. It's such an expertly sort of calibrated performance. You really see an arc there from beginning to end. But you know, Jennifer Lawrence is sensational in Silver Linings Playbook. She's had a heck of a year with Hunger Games and that, even though there's quite an age jump between those two characters. And her film seems to be, I mean, it has more nominations in the key categories, and I think it has more momentum. So at this point, I think it's leaning toward Jennifer Lawrence.
Right. Now, talking about another actress who, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think has ever, well, no, she has been nominated for an Academy Award, Jodie Foster, who I think before this year...
Two-time winner.
Two-time winner, I apologize. Was she, before this, the youngest person nominated?
No, the youngest nominee for an Oscar, I want to say, was a little boy from Kramer versus Kramer. I think he was the youngest prior nominee.
Right. So now, while we're talking about Miss Jodie, what do we think about her coming out, and was it a coming out? I got to tell you, I didn't see it until I saw it on YouTube. I woke up to Facebook after the Golden Globes, and suddenly I'm like, this is the greatest thing since the invention of the toaster, and what's wrong with this woman?
Yes.
And these were all gay bloggers jumping on her.
Yeah.
Where's the truth?
You know, it's probably somewhere in the middle. Frankly, I was both moved and perplexed. It was probably the most scolding, aggressive coming out that I've ever seen. What I object to most about her attitude toward the whole idea of coming out is that she views people asking her to come out strictly in terms of an invasion of her privacy. She views it as people wanting to be up in her business, when what's really important is to view it in the larger scope of the struggle for gay rights and the importance for having representation and visibility. And she just doesn't acknowledge any of that. She just says, like, well, no, it's me. I've been in the public eye since the time that I was 3. No one knows what that's like. And granted, I don't know what that's like. But looking at her now as a 50-year-old woman, it seems to make you kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's
well,
kind
and
of
then also, I mean, it was about as big a news as Ricky Martin coming out. I mean, gasp and swoon.
Yeah, and she kind of, you know, she alluded to that. She's like, I've been out personally for a very long time. And I can see how it would be frustrating to be like, how out do I have to get? Like, how big of a stage do I have to come out on when I have been open with the people in my life forever? And I guess she assumed, like, okay, well, like, this is a big stage. Let's just do this and get it over with, because she was kind of the last of the glass-closeted, you know, A-list stars that people were kind of like, okay, you're openly gay in your private life. Can you just please come out publicly so that, you know, we can have that visibility and that representation?
So now that she's gotten this Lifetime Achievement Award, is that kind of like a de facto, I'm done, I'm not going to have any other great movie roles?
You know, I feel like for the Globes, for the Cecil B. DeMille, it usually comes at this kind of midlife point, and so it doesn't mean that you're done. I think the Oscars tend to have those more for folks who are, you know, much later on in years and maybe have never won an Oscar, and they want to give them some kind of, you know, recognition for what they've done. So for Jodie, no, she could still have as much of a career as she wants to have after this going forward.
So, Best Actress, Best Film, Best Director.
That's the big one. That's the snub fest is what it is.
So Spielberg's not going to get it.
Spielberg is probably going to get it. Yeah, it seems like he's probably going to get it. If not him, then probably David O. Russell. But I mean, I think we were all expecting Ben Affleck to not only get nominated, but to win. And I think the Academy really has egg on their face right now. I think there's a lot of embarrassment in the Academy over this because they're being mocked so much. He won the Globe for Best Director. He won the Critics' Choice Award for Best Director.
So what do they have against Ben Affleck?
It's a good question.
I mean,
I think
his taste in wives? I mean,
you know, I think they've never forgiven him for Bennifer. I think that, you know, I certainly haven't. But, you know, I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was an intentional slight. I think it was just a matter of maybe everyone assuming he was going to get nominated, and so they wanted to sort of diversify the field a little bit, and then he just got left out. I don't think it's any anger at him over being an actor turned director, because that certainly didn't hurt, you know, Kevin Costner or Mel Gibson. So I don't think or Robert Redford, you know, so I don't think it's any of that. And what I've been reading, actually, is that there could be a write-in vote.
Would that be a first?
It would not be a first. It happened for Bette Davis for Of Human Bondage in 1934, it turns out. There's a write-in campaign to get her on, to get her in there, and she came in third, actually, that year in that category.
Wow.
So if the Academy really wanted to band together and start this kind of grassroots effort to be like, grassroots. I mean, we're talking about giving a movie star an Oscar.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly like this is, you know, an Up With People Les Mis moment.
Yeah.
But, you know, if they really wanted to give him that recognition, they could still do a write-in. And if he got enough votes, then he could still win, even though he's not on the ballot.
Right. And any surprises with Best Actor, or is it going to be Daniel Day-Lewis?
I have looked at that field again, and I couldn't even tell you who the runner-up would be. I think I thought the runner-up was going to be John Hawkes for The Sessions, but then he got snubbed.
Yeah.
So
We've only got a few seconds left. I want to ask you another controversial question. What do you think of Les Mis?
Oh, okay. So I don't understand the hatred toward Les Mis. I just don't. I personally really love Tom Hooper's approach to it. I love the live singing. I love the close-ups on the acting, on the emoting, everyone just exploding with emotion right there in front of you. I love that. I mean, that's my favorite part of musical theater, is just the huge emotions. And I thought that the movie really captured all of that. And even though Anne Hathaway has been annoying the crap out of everyone, I'm still very excited to see her just lose her mind when she wins her Oscar. I'm taking bets on if she's going to be in tears before she even gets to the podium, or if she'll wait for the speech.
Soon after. We'll be with you watching that night. Thank you. We've been speaking with Jason LeRoy, celebrity blogger. He's all about what's in Hollywood. I'm David Perry, all about what's gay on TV. Thanks for watching 10%. We'll see you next week.